How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another ETH update. Now, we have this macro head and shoulders pattern that we broke down of and lost all the moving averages. And as this was the neckline and the previous high low, then we start targeting the next high low, and that's where we've dumped back down to. If you followed over from yesterday's video, I was suggesting that we need to see a close above that wick down there, 2.3k, and that's actually what it did. So we saw it lose it during the candle, but close above. This is actually positive because it's trying to form a support. What needs to happen is a reversal. It needs to pump back up and recover 2.5k. It's vital, especially if we go to higher time frames. Let me try and find it. I think it might be the monthly. Yeah, so you can see this key level of support over here is around 2.48, so around 2.5k. And then the moving average right there as well, the first moving average. So going back to the daily time frame, that's these two lines essentially. So around that red box, also the 786 and the 65 fib more specifically, these are two levels that must be recovered. So what I'll do is I'll just create a box between the two. And right now, this must hold 2.25 to 2.3. This is current support in a larger macro support area as well. So ultimately, 2.1, 0.2 must hold. This has to be the area it bottoms out. But I really do, unfortunately, believe that with any move up, it's going to lower high. So at the moment, although this area needs to be reclaimed, a move up into there should just be resistance, whether it stops at 2.47 or gets up as high as 2.7k. It should still be resistance and then roll over once again as the trend just keeps showing each high is lower than the last. So technically speaking, even if we found a local bottom here, at the most, we would see 2.7 at the most. It's suggesting before continuation lower. That's the highest it could pump and still roll over. That's what it's essentially suggesting. We're caught up in quite a mess, really. Ultimately, I need to see 3.1k reclaimed. That's where everything went wrong. When all this key support, the higher low that sent us to a new high, touched 4.1k, came all the way back down. We want to maintain that higher low for continuation higher. Formed that lower high, lost the support. So now it's bearish, losing all the EMAs, the 20, 50, 100, 200. And then, of course, the higher low as well, validating the bearish pattern, meeting its target, and then filling in that wick. So even though we're accumulating for a couple weeks here, it almost got as high as 2.9k and then rolled over. Now we're down at 2.2, 2.3. It's ridiculous. And again, I think that a bounce, remember, up into the 2.7k area, it is resistance. We see it to the left. What would that then say? Could it be that this macro head and shoulders is actually smaller because another one could be forming, and that could be the right shoulder where it rolls over? And if we ever see 2.1k lost, I don't know what to say, guys. What would you say? That's an extended correction? Or would you call that a bear market? Without higher highs here, if we start losing the macro low, we're already losing bullish structure, the higher low here, and if and the moving averages, we can see what happens when you get caught under. If we can accumulate down over here now, and as you can see to the left, it did actually break through to get up there. So we saw the moving averages broken. What needs to happen in this area is after this rejection, it's going to form a right shoulder, but it just can't lose 2.1k. And the hope is that it could double bottom, for example. This could already be a double bottom over here, but once we pump up into there again, it should reject. So another one form, can't lose the low, and then try again. At that point, the moving averages will hover around that 2.7, 2.k area, and then we need to see that flip back into support, similar to this, where you saw it higher low after breaking out of it. So that's one way of invalidating this potential larger macro head and shoulders pattern. So unless 3.1k is reclaimed, there is that potential, right? Because this is the neckline of the previous head and shoulders. We could pump into it and it's a resistance. We haven't tested it yet, so it should actually reject. And so we could actually form a shoulder as high as 3.1k. We really need to see 3.1k reclaimed. That is when we can start saying all moving averages and that previous support, which is currently resistance, is all reclaimed. So we're stopping being from this lower range over here, and then we get into that higher range between this being the support pivot point to break out and get new highs, hitting a new all-time high. So I will update it day by day as it develops. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Be aware, even with a market-wide pump, and we might see cryptos moving 20, 50% if that move up happens, and everything could still get knocked back down and lose this macro low. So I'll update it as it develops. Keep your eye on the channel, also on my Twitter. If you want further updates, I also do live streams in the Discord. So yeah, the links are down below if you want to jump in there. Cheers.